Hey, travelers, welcome back to the Boundless Roads. We all love finding those hidden gems and beautiful destinations around the world, right? Those off-the-beaten-path adventures, the local experiences, the breathtaking scenery. But what about the flip side? What about the places that turn out to be the opposite of paradise? The ones that make you want to hop on the next plane home? Today, we're diving deep into the dark side of travel with the top 10 nightmare travel destinations that will shock you. So, if you're planning your next big trip, you might want to think twice about these spots. Are you ready to be shocked? Because I'm ready to shock you. Let's jump right in. Starting off our list at number 10 is La Rinconada in Peru. Now, when you picture Peru, you're probably thinking Machu Picchu, ancient ruins, stunning landscapes. La Rinconada? Not so much. This place is about as far from a postcard destination as you can get. See, La Rinconada is a mining town, but we're not talking some quaint historic mining town. This place is perched precariously over 16,000 feet above sea level, nestled high in the Andes Mountains. That's right, 16,000 feet. To put that into perspective, that's higher than the base camp of Mount Everest. It's one of the highest settlements in the world, and let me tell you, living here is no picnic. First off, there's the altitude. We're talking altitude sickness on steroids. Headaches, dizziness, nausea, that's just the tip of the iceberg. La Rinconada also happens to lack some of those basic amenities we often take for granted. Things like, a sewage system. Yeah, that's non-existent here. So, not only are you struggling to breathe at this altitude, you're also breathing in toxic fumes. Up next at number 9 is a place shrouded in mystery and more than a little danger, North Sentinel Island. Now, forget tourist traps and crowded beaches, this island is about as off the grid as you can get, and for good reason. See, North Sentinel Island is home to the Sentinelese, one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. And when I say uncontacted, I mean it. These folks have made it crystal clear that they want absolutely nothing to do with the outside world. And their methods of expressing that desire? Let's just say they're not big on diplomacy. We're talking bows and arrows, folks. And they're not afraid to use them. Over the years, there have been a handful of attempts to make contact, and they've all been met with, shall we say, a less than warm reception. Fishermen who've strayed too close to the island, missionaries hoping to spread the good word, they've all been met with hostility. The Indian government, to their credit, has taken the hint. They've declared the island off limits to visitors, and for good reason. Number 8 takes us to a place that's as beautiful as it is brutal, Death Valley, USA. Now, I'm all for pushing boundaries and embracing adventure, but this place takes it to a whole other level. We're talking about the hottest place on Earth, folks. Located in the Mojave Desert, Death Valley is a land of extremes. Towering sand dunes, salt flats that stretch as far as the eye can see, canyons carved by centuries of erosion. It's a photographer's dream. But it's also a place where the sun doesn't just shine, it scorches. We're talking temperatures that can reach a mind-blowing 134 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not just hot, that's the kind of heat that can bake a cake on your dashboard. And it's not just the air temperature, the ground itself can reach over 200 degrees. Dehydration is a very real threat, and heat stroke is a constant danger. Every year, people underestimate the severity of the conditions and end up needing to be rescued. This is one place where nature's power is on full display, and underestimating it can have deadly consequences. At number 7, we have a destination that's both haunting and eerily beautiful, Chernobyl, Ukraine. Now, most people wouldn't put a nuclear disaster site on their travel bucket list, but Chernobyl isn't your average tourist trap. It's a chilling reminder of the devastating power of human error and the resilience of nature in the face of catastrophe. Back in 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant became synonymous with disaster when a reactor exploded, releasing a massive amount of radiation into the atmosphere. The nearby city of Pripyat, once a bustling community, was evacuated overnight, becoming a ghost town frozen in time. Today, Chernobyl is a macabre time capsule. Apartment buildings stand empty, their windows like vacant eyes staring out at the deserted streets. Schools still have children's toys scattered on the floor, abandoned in haste as families fled for their lives. Visiting Chernobyl isn't for the faint of heart. It's an emotional journey, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring impact of human actions. Coming in at number 6 is a city that's as vibrant as it is volatile, Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. Now, when you think of Papua New Guinea, you probably picture lush rainforests, pristine beaches, and a rich cultural tapestry. And while Port Moresby has its share of natural beauty, it's also a city grappling with some serious challenges. Let's be blunt. Port Moresby has a reputation, and that reputation is for crime. We're talking high rates of robbery, carjacking, and assault. The kind of statistics that make even the most seasoned traveler think twice. It's not a place where you want to be wandering around alone at night, that's for sure. But for now, Port Moresby is a stark reminder that even in paradise, danger can lurk around every corner. Number 5 on our list brings us to a city that's bursting at the seams, Jakarta, Indonesia. Now, Jakarta is a city of contradictions. It's a sprawling metropolis, a melting pot of cultures, a hub of commerce and creativity. But it's also a city struggling to cope with its own success. Let's talk traffic, shall we? Jakarta is infamous for its traffic jams, and I'm not talking about your average rush hour gridlock. We're talking about the kind of traffic jams that can turn a 30-minute commute into a 3-hour ordeal. The streets are a chaotic ballet of cars, motorcycles, and pedestrians all vying for space. And then there's the pollution. With so many vehicles crammed into such a small space, the air quality in Jakarta can be, well, let's just say it's not for the faint of lung. Just be prepared to embrace the chaos. At number 4, we have a city that's been ravaged by conflict, Mogadishu, Somalia. Now, Mogadishu has a long and storied history, but it's also a city that's been caught in the crossfire of conflict for decades. And that conflict has taken a heavy toll. Once a bustling port city, Mogadishu is now a shadow of its former self. Buildings are riddled with bullet holes, reminders of battles fought and lives lost. The threat of violence is ever present, with armed groups controlling different parts of the city. Kidnappings, bombings, and crossfire are all too common. It's a tragedy, because beneath the scars of conflict, there's a city with a rich culture and a resilient spirit. But for now, Mogadishu remains a place where hope is overshadowed by the harsh realities of war. Number 3 takes us to the top of the world, literally. We're talking about Mount Everest Base Camp, Nepal. Now, for many adventurers, reaching Everest Base Camp is a lifelong dream. It's the ultimate test of endurance, a chance to stand at the foot of the world's tallest mountain. But let me tell you, this dream can quickly turn into a nightmare. First off, there's the altitude. We're talking 17,600 feet above sea level, an altitude where the air is thin and every breath is a struggle. Altitude sickness is a very real threat, and it can strike even the fittest individuals. Headaches, nausea, dizziness, even pulmonary edema. It's not pretty. And then there's the cold. We're talking bone-chilling, teeth-chattering cold. Temperatures can plummet well below freezing, especially at night. So if you're planning on tackling Everest Base Camp, be prepared. Number 2 on our list brings us to a city steeped in history and shrouded in uncertainty, Kabul, Afghanistan. Now, Kabul has a rich and complex past. It was once a major stop on the Silk Road, a crossroads of cultures and a center of learning. But decades of conflict have left their mark. Today, Kabul is a city on edge. The threat of violence is ever present, and security checkpoints are a fact of life. The streets are patrolled by armed guards, a constant reminder that danger lurks around every corner. Bombings, attacks, and kidnappings are all too common. It's a shame, because behind the blast walls and barbed wire fences, there's a city with a lot to offer. But for now, Kabul remains a city caught in the grip of conflict, a place where the past casts a long shadow over the present. And finally, at number 1, we return to Ukraine, but this time to a place that's frozen in time, Pripyat. Now, we've already talked about Chernobyl, the site of the infamous nuclear disaster. But just a few miles away lies Pripyat, a city that's become a haunting symbol of the disaster's enduring impact. Imagine a city frozen in time. Apartment buildings stand empty, their windows like vacant eyes staring out at the deserted streets. Schools still have children's toys scattered on the floor, abandoned in haste as families fled for their lives. There's a Ferris wheel that never turned, a poignant symbol of the joy that was lost. Pripyat is a ghost town, a chilling reminder of the devastating power of nuclear energy and the fragility of human life. It's a place where nature has slowly begun to reclaim what was once a bustling city, with trees pushing through cracks in the pavement and wildlife roaming freely. Visiting Pripyat is an eerie experience, a stark reminder of the human cost of disaster and the enduring legacy of our actions. And there you have it, the top 10 nightmare travel destinations that will shock you. From toxic cities to abandoned ghost towns, these destinations are a stark reminder that not all travel experiences are created equal. But hey, I'm all about finding the adventure in the unexpected. So tell me, which of these places would you dare to visit? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more travel tips and destination reviews. Until next time, stay adventurous and travel safe.